Hi there. My name is Eijiro J. Campo, and that's right. You can call me Jay. That's easier for everybody. And I am the pastor of Hispanic Ministries at First Baptist Church in Calgary, Alberta. I am from Panama and grew up there, and then lived in Brazil for a few years before coming to Canada in 2002. I come from a Christian family. My dad is a pastor. His dad was a pastor, and I did not plan to be a pastor originally. So I studied mechanical engineering, but I ended up being a pastor, and that's probably a story for another time. I have a wife, Marlene. We've been together for 17 years. Our son Lucas is 15, and our daughter Ashley, she's 7. And as I said before, we are serving, leading the Hispanic ministry at First Baptist Church in Calgary. So one of the things that I really like about the ministry in Calgary in First Baptist with the Hispanics is the diversity. We come from very many different countries in Latin America, and what really brings us together is the Spanish language. But we come from places like El Salvador. I'm from Panama, Cuba, the Dominican Republic, Mexico, Chile, and so on, Colombia, Venezuela. And we all have different backgrounds, but we share a lot of common things, the Spanish language and some cultural things. And one of the things that really excite me about the ministry there is the ability to work with different generations. The people from, even though we share the same language, we do have different cultural things. So it's intercultural ministry, and also it's intergenerational ministry, and that's exciting. But at the same time, it's challenging because the immigration experience is very difficult for most families, and then the first generation, there's this generation gap that is not only generational, but it's also cultural between the first generation of immigrants, the parents and the grandparents, and then the children that come to Canada young or they're born here. And so that's a great challenge and a great opportunity. So it brings excitement and freshness, but it also brings its own challenges in terms of the ministry. We are part of First Baptist Church. We're not a standalone ethnic congregation. One of the things we've been working on since I came on board about 3 years ago in 2010 to lead the ministry is on integrated ministry for the second generation with the rest of the First Baptist Church community of faith. So we're working on an integrated youth program and children education program for our children, the second generation of immigrants. And that's a burden on my heart, because statistics show that the second generation of immigrants they leave the church in large numbers. They don't identify with ethnic churches very much, and they start seeing those churches as mom and dad church, but not their church, and that's a burden and a challenge. So I would like to ask you to pray for our ministry, so we can minister effectively to the spiritual needs of both generations. The first generation that brings that Latin American culture and still speaks Spanish as their first language, so we can minister to their spiritual needs. But we may also be able to minister along with the rest of the First Baptist family to the spiritual needs of the second generation, those who are born in Canada or come here young, and they have this dual identity as Latino and Canadians, and their first language, it's primarily English. And I want to ask you to pray also for the spiritual needs of the Hispanics in Calgary and in Canada. As I said, the immigration experience is very difficult, and there are all kinds of issues: employment issues, requalification issues, getting their careers restarted in Canada, family issues, financial issues, immigration paperwork, divorce, tensions in the family. Those are very real spiritual needs, spiritual, social, just financial needs, all kinds of needs, and that's the burden of my heart, and that's why I do this. So again, I want to ask you to pray for the Hispanics, for the Latino people here in Canada, in Calgary, that God may give us the wisdom, the resources, and the burden to serve their spiritual needs, to serve their needs as the people of God in Calgary. So thanks again for watching, and God bless you all.